Hi, my name is Tony Berard, and in this video we are going to make a full comparison with chess and dice chess. And we're going to see how dice chess, or how chess stands up to dice chess. Alright, I have my list here. I'll put it in view of the camera so you can look at that, pause the video, whatever. This is what we're going to be going through. Alright, so white's half turn on the first turn to balance the game. Alright, I have on the Game Crafter, I guess I should say a few preliminaries. Well, the most preliminary is, hi, I'm Tony Berard. I am the inventor of this game right here called Dice Chess. And it's available on the Game Crafter. So this is the box it comes in. See how thick it is. Knocking over chess pieces. Don't go off the table, please. I have to get up. Alright. So that's the thickness of the box. And this is inside the box. You actually get 3 games and 3 sets of rules. There's 2 pages, well, 4 pages. These are extra dice because if you're playing the smaller boards, the biggest board is a 10 by 10 board. I won't be using that in this video, but I'm just showing you the board. There, I think I got all of it. So it's a 10 by 10 board. It's a 3-way fold. So when it's all folded up, it looks like this. So it folds out and then it folds out. Alright. So, with the sets of rules, I guess I'll get one of each. So I first need to tell you about dice chess, if you're not aware of the game. So the objective is to defeat your opponent by capturing their king, forcing a checkmate, or forcing them into a freeze-out where they have no legal moves. Alright. In chess, the king, I keep making sure I'm in the camera view, the king is inviolate. So, if it's like this, the king is not allowed to move here. That's illegal because the knight can capture the king. In dice chess, this can go to a distance of 2. That's all we know at the moment. And so if the king is here, let's say that's not there, and we have to block the 5, etc. So the only thing attacking here is this 2. The king can go there in dice chess. There's nothing stopping it. And so on the next turn, black will just capture the king and win the game. So you have to watch after your own king's safety. Guess I can do it here, but here. So this is your king in this game. So you have to protect it. It's your responsibility to protect it. You can still get a checkmate, but you can. There's a new way to win in this game. It's called a freeze out. I'll explain that shortly. All right. So the elements. This is very short, so it's only going to take me a moment to go through this. Dice chess is played on a scalable grid, 8 by 8, 9 by 9, or 10 by 10. I already showed you the 10 by 10. The 8 by 8 is here. On the reverse side of this is a 9 by 9 grid. And so I was able to reduce the number of physical boards required for the game to 2. Fitting a 10 by 10 onto this, it's only 10 square inches. If I also wanted the notation grid to be on there, then this size was too small, so I had to go to the fold out. That was a physical reason to do that. All right. So, and it says here that you can, I suppose I could just put it under here. So you could, this is on the Game Crafter, thegamecrafter.com. If you go there, then you can type out dice chess. It should find me. And then you could download these rules for free. But this is very nice paper. So you probably won't have as good a paper as what they have. Plus it's a real glossy paper. So it's really professionally done. So anyway, here's page 1. There's only 4 pages. I'm going to enter this game into the Mensa Mind Games competition. I'll probably do that later on today. I need some photos of it to put on the Game Crafter site. Right now, the photos are like this, and so they're digital from the app that I built with Gemini. And this is the last page, page 4. But you can go to the Game Crafter, type in Dice Chess. You should be able to find it. Then you can download the rules. All right. So there's the mobility. A piece moves orthogonally or diagonally up to its face value. 1 to 6 pieces cannot jump over one another. And so this can move up to 2 spaces. Up to 2 spaces. Right there, that should have shown you that the pawns are much more powerful than they are in chess, because they're not pawns, they're full pieces. All right. And then there's the power. So a 1 is the slowest piece, but it is the most lethal assassin, capable of capturing any piece. So the 1 is the strongest guy on the field. Yes, he can only go 1 space like a king, but he can capture anything. It's like if this 3 is here, this 1 could capture it. There's some rules. Can't just capture. We'll get to that in a moment. But the 3 cannot capture the 1. That's the main point. The 3 doesn't have the power. It has the range because it's within its 3-unit mobility, but it doesn't have the power. So you have to have at least the power to capture something. All right. So then the king possesses a fixed mobility of 1, but infinite combat power. The king can capture any piece that enters its 1 square radius. But also, the king can be captured by anything because it doesn't have a power level. I guess I didn't say that. Oh, okay, I did say it. A 1 is the slowest piece, but the most lethal assassin capable of capturing any piece. So that means it can capture the king. A 6 is the fastest piece, but the weakest in combat, capable of capturing only another 6 or a king. So that shows that everybody can capture the king. All right, the next major piece is the action point economy. So White's first turn is restricted to 3 points. Every turn thereafter, both players get 6 points on their turn. And there's a list of operations that you can do. You can modify a piece, which means to increment or decrement it. You can move a piece, that costs 3 points. Oh, increments and decrements cost 1 point each, and moving costs 3 points each. Capturing costs an additional 2 points to move. I put it here as 5 points. Okay, so when I said the other rules before, so if you capture this 3, that's 5 points, but you get 6 points. So you can do one other thing. Maybe you want to increment to a 2. Maybe you want to decrement this to a 1. That's okay. you have full freedom to increment and decrement any piece with your point. So I wanted to say that. What makes it especially is something like this. Suppose this piece captures this one. And now it's only a 2, so we can go to here and here. Suppose I increment it to a 3. Now it's threatening to capture on the next turn because you get 6 points on your next turn. So this king is in check, even though the 3 can only go to here. We call this the quantum shadow. So the king is in the quantum shadow of this 3. And so the king is in check. And if, let's say, you move your 6 points, go up 2, go up 1, and you didn't address that, then on the next turn, the player will increment to a 4, capture your king, and you just lost the game. So the quantum shadow thing, it's not mystical. It's a real thing. So you got to watch your quantum shadows. All right, then the next thing is the action, or the advancement score. So on on your first row, any piece on there is worth 1 point. Any piece on your second row is worth 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, 8 points. And so your total is, at the start of the turn, that's called your advancement score. At the start of the game, you'll have 8 times 1 plus 8 times 2, which is 24 points. On every turn, you have to increase your advancement score by 1 point. During the game, you're going to lose pieces because there's going to be captures that are made, and that's going to reduce your advancement score at the start of your next turn. But whatever your advancement score is at the start of your turn, you are obligated to increase it. So, but you don't have to do all the math. You know, I've got 4 pieces on the 3rd rank, and that's 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 pieces on the 5th rank, that's 10 more. I forgot what I had. 12 and 10 is 22. You know, you don't have to do that. You have to remember the +1 rule. That's the mnemonic. And that is said on this page, the +1 rule. All right, so this is page 2. So the +1 heuristic is, if you advance a piece by 2 ranks, or it says X ranks in the notes, then you have to, or retreat a piece 2 ranks, X ranks, then you have to increase the rank of that piece or a different piece by at least 1 more rank. That's the +1 rule. So let's say we have this piece here and you don't want to capture that or something. If you want to bring this back 2 ranks, and let's say you did have a 3 there, then you'd have to move this up by 3 ranks. That would be an okay turn because you had a net advancement of 1 rank. And if you calculate the advancement score, you would see that you did actually increase your advancement score by 1 point. So you don't have to do all the math, you just have to remember the +1 rule. All right. And there's a capture exemption. Suppose this was like this. If you capture this way, that's okay, because capturing is a significant event. Just like a pawn move is considered a significant event in chess, and that restarts the 50 move rule, a capture is a significant event in dice chess. And so it like restarts the advancement score, if you will. It suspends it for that turn. You're okay. Capturing is what we want. The advancement score's purpose is to make sure the players move ahead, move ahead, move ahead, and not stall. Capturing did that. And so that's, we don't need to artificially have a rule to tell them to move forward when they captured, because they already made progress in the game and didn't turtle. In other words, fortresses. We don't want fortresses in the game. All right, I guess I should show you this. So this is the initial startup for an 8x8 game. And then we're on page 3. Page 3 is quick. That's the initial startup for a 9x9 game and a 10x10 game. So then there's the last page. It tells you what the two kings are. It shows you some notation, and it makes a note that if you checkmate the opposing king and the other player doesn't realize it's a checkmate, because this game is so much more complex, then the player that did the checkmating wins the game, and the other player is allowed to try to find an escape route or some sequence of moves that saves their king. And when they realize they cannot find it, then they'll realize they have been checkmated. Suppose they make a move anyway, thinking they were safe, not realizing that they still left their king in danger. And the first player that got the checkmate on the previous turn flags their clock while trying to capture the king. Well, they don't lose the game because they flagged. No, they won the game on the previous turn. The fact that they weren't able to actually capture the king does not invalidate their win on the previous turn. So that's what that last note was. All right, so I'm matching the initial setup for white, or for the game. So I have white's pieces set up and black's pieces set up. So it's 2s on the front rank, then on the outer corners 5, 4, 3. Then there's a 6 next to the king. And 2s, 5, 4, 3, 6 next to the king. So in chess we say the queen takes her color. Well, the 6 takes her color. All right, so that's the rules of dice chess. Notice there's no capture and passing. That's on my list. And notice there's no castling. That's also on my list to cover. All right. So now that you know the rules of dice chess, now we can move on to this list. White's half turn on the first turn balances the game. So white is restricted to 3 points on the first turn. So that's 3 points. It costs 3 points to move a piece. And so now it's black's turn. Black gets a full 6 points. Let's say they do this. So now black has more work showing than white. And so you might say, oh, well, black has the advantage now. No, because white also now gets to move 2 pieces. So now 3 beats 2. So the advantage trades places every single turn right from move 1. So the game is balanced right from the get-go. And so it doesn't matter if you're white or black in this game. It doesn't matter. Your chances of winning or losing are exactly the same, 50%. There is a distinct advantage to being white or black in chess. I guess I'll say this. This is my book called Dice Chess. I guess I need to bring it farther over. This is Dice Chess. It's on Amazon. It's a nice book. It took me a while to write it. I'll show its ISBN. There. If you go to Amazon, I guess you could type, well, you could type in the ISBN. That'll obviously get you the book. But you could type in my name, Tony Berard. It's on the side too. Or Anthony Berard, I guess is listed there. Anthony Berard, that's on the spine. And you could get this book. Anyway, I played our bot, the bot I built on there. And the bot is in the book too. Look at that. I put the entire program that me and Jim and I worked on I provided the vision and Gemini provided the coding. So anyway, that's all code. It's in there. It's like 50 pages. Crazy. Anyway, this book is my statement of the game. So, all right, back to this list. Wonder if I covered my point adequately. All right, the number of white's opening choices. Okay, so number one was white's half turn on the first turn balances the game. All right, I made that point. Number two, the number of white's opening choices is chess has 20 and dice chess has 41. So right there, dice chess has more than double the choices. And you might ask, well, how can that be? These look like pawns. How can it be double? And you don't have knights to hop out. Notice there's no knights. So in chess, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those are all the opening moves for chess. All the opening moves for dice chess is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Same as chess. But you also get this. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. So that's how you get 41 turns. And so there's a lot more, well, more than double the amount that you get in chess. So I made that point. Number three, the number of black's opening choices. Chess has 20. It's the same thing, mirror image. But black gets a full turn. So that was 41 choices with just a half turn, being restricted to 3 points. When you get the full 6 points, does it go to 82? Double that? No. It goes to about 200,000. And why is that? Well, you have to satisfy the advancement score. So you have to move one piece. So you get the 41 choices for your first 3 points. But now you get 3 more points. You can decrement. You can increment. And you can spread that across all your pieces. Or you can move a second piece. So all those that you didn't do, you could do. You could move a back rank piece out. You could fianchetto your bishop in 1 turn. You could do that if you want. And so now this is attacked because this could increment to a 3 and capture, but you've got adequate defense, so you're fine. Plus this guy can defend too. So, you know, there's a lot more leeway in what you can do with your second set of 3 points. You can disperse the increments and decrements, or you can move another piece. You could even move this piece. So you could go here, here. Look at that. How's that for a pawn? One of my games against the bot went like this. And so I was like, well, what is that, you know? So then the bot did this. Let me make sure I got it right. Okay. So then the bot did something like this. And then it ticked this up 3 points to a 5. I ran this by Gemini, and Gemini saw a good way through it, but not all the way through it. Do you see the threat that the bot made against me? of course, it's threatening to capture this. So if I don't address that, it could capture and decrement. Now my 2s can't capture it back. That's a lost piece. You lose a piece and the game. Not instantly, but over the course of time. But there was another threat it did. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus the quantum shadow. This king is in the quantum shadow of that pawn. The pawn self-promoted to a queen on its first turn. That was something pretty deep that the bot saw. I don't think I programmed that in directly. So that was pretty cool. So also notice there was no promotion in this game. It's because of the increments and decrements. You could promote and control the power level of your own pieces. So all that is good stuff. All right. So let's talk about the bunker theory. This is a bunker around the king. It's called a cave because your king is like in a little cave. This type of bunker is called remora fish. So the king is like a shark, and these are like the remora fish that swim under the shark. It's blocking off the forward lines of attack to the king. So that's the defense it's providing. And the other type of bunker is called a glacier. If you have some of your pieces, well, I guess out here like this, this is called a glacier. If it's not a cave and it's more diffuse, but you're still blocking off all the lines of action, then it's called a glacier. So I originally had the term for just piling up a bunch of stuff, but I realized that as the pieces dwindle down, you still can like have a diffuse bunker, but I kept the term glacier. All right. This is a collapsed bunker because you could increment to a 3 and put a piece there. Now the king is threatened. So my speaker just turned off, but I'm not using it. So there should be no effect on the audio quality. All right. So I covered the bunker theory. Okay, so you don't need to castle in this game. So let me show you a couple of things here. Why you don't need to castle. All right. Yes, there is the advancement score, but you're only required to advance by 1. And so you could still have a little bit of a slow pace in this game, even though it might not seem like it. These pieces are so powerful that it would not be wise, especially with a big row of 2s, to come at that. Because even a 1 attacking, I guess from here, you can't go lower than a 1. And so the 1 is not directly attacking the 2s. You have to spend your 6 points like this and then capture, which now the 2s can get at it. So you have to be, you have to develop an attack. You can't just bring one piece to attack. It won't work, especially against a row of 2s. So that gives you time. So let's say you do something like this on your first turn, and then let's let the opponent attack. So then you can, let's say, do this and this. Then the opponent might do this. Then you can move over 1 and then let's say up 1. Then let's let black increment and capture, and we'll let black decrement and capture. So you didn't get to go over again just yet. And we can even let black be more aggressive. Let's say black captures here and decrements. Then we will decrement and capture back. Now black can't capture again, so let's say black does this and this. Well, this. Now you can go sideways, and let's advance by 1. And let's let black be as aggressive as possible. Increment, capture, and then we'll capture backwards. Since this is going to be my new bunker piece, let's decrement it to a 5. Well, I guess there is another capture, so we'll increment to a 3 and capture. This was a 4. And then we will capture backwards. So I'm trying to maintain the bunker. Now there's nothing else. So let's say black does this and this. Now finally we can get our bunker done. Advance 2 and back up by 1. So now there's a full cave here. So it was able to be done. And the piece count, I mean, yes, I just did it off the top of my head, but it's, can you see that? You can't. This is all the pieces captured, 4 and 4. All right. So now let's go. So that's the bunker. So you don't need to castle in this game. You don't need the castling rule is my point. You can achieve your king's safety with the power of the pieces. So that's a cool thing. I took the trouble to mention all that. And all this stuff, in one way or another, is in the book, so it would be worth your time to get it if you want to play the game well. So 5, 4, 3. 5, 4, 3, 6. 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, all 2s, all 2s. All right. So that was number 4. Number 5, capture en passant versus a 2 on the 5th. For those of you who don't know about capture and passing, if white has a pawn on the 5th, then the opposing adjacent files can advance 2, and then some person in chess a long time ago decided that that was a violation of this pawn's rights. So they decided that you can capture and take the pawn as if you had only done that. That violates the consistency rules, because that's the only piece that gets to do that. So it's not consistent with the other piece formats. So why isn't that needed in my game? Well, let's put a 2 on the 5th. You've already probably, you might be able to perceive why, but if you do that, capture it anyway. It's within its range. So let's say you do both though. Well, you could capture and decrement, and that's a loss of a piece. So you could have captured the other one as well and decremented. So it's not needed. The capture and passing rule is not needed because this 2 is not violated. It didn't lose its chance to capture. It still has it. But what if you do stuff like this? Using your double step. Well, let's capture with this one instead then, because that one's not going to be able to do it. It could come over here. Now it loses its chance, but it didn't land here. It could capture this one though. Or let's say, okay, let's say you did that and that. So these 2 pawns violated it, but you could still capture straight ahead into that like that. So the pawn is not just defenseless. The 2 is not defenseless. So anyway, that should show that it doesn't bother the 2 at all. It has the ability to, if it lands side by side it, or even this, you know, it can capture that one, unless it decremented. And let's say you did this, and incremented to a 3. Well, this could increment to a 3 and capture it on the next turn. So, it's, the possibilities are so much greater, but the original spirit of the rule is that the pawn, now you can see them side by side on the same squares. The pawn is not able to capture that guy. That's why they awarded it to capture onto here, as if it had only advanced there. This can capture there. And that's not a violation of its consistency. That's how it captures. It's within its rules. So this type of rule, I call it a after the fact patch up rule, because you're patching up a flaw in the game. In my opinion, it's not a flaw. Well, does this guy think it's Rambo and he can just run into the enemy army and he gets extra perks? What made him think that? He shouldn't have advanced there. So he shouldn't get to capture, you know, and take out a life for his own. So. Alright, so that covers capture and passing. Let's go on to the next one. King mobility. In chess, the king can go to 1 square in any direction. So there's 8 squares that it can go to. So if you're going to checkmate the king, you have to make sure all of them are covered. Unless you're on the side, then you only need to cover 5. But if you're not on the corner or an edge, I think somebody's moving something. Oh, they're in the attic. I live in an apartment, and sometimes they go up into the attic and do things, and right now I hear them walking up in the attic. I'm on the top floor, so I shouldn't ever hear anything up there. But once in a while they're up there, and they're up there now. If you can hear thumping and stuff, just know that it's from them. All right. If the king is in the corner, then you only have to cover 3 extra squares other than the king. All right. How many does the dice chess king get? Well, we've learned that you have to satisfy the advancement score. So if you retreat a square, you have to pay for it with a 2 square advancement somewhere else. So you can go to these 3, but you have to pay for it. You can go here or here. You haven't satisfied the advancement score, so you have to pay for it with at least a 1 square advancement. If you advance to these, then you've paid for it. So those are okay. You can also go diagonally one and over one, like a knight. There was a chess variant, 1700s maybe, that had a rule where the king could move one time like a knight. It might have even been chess itself at some point in its history. I can't recall. But here it is again. And it's not a special rule. It's its normal rule. You get 6 points, 3 and 3. And it happened to move like a knight. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. So you can get to these 4 forward knight squares. You can't go here because you didn't satisfy the advancement score. So that one's out of order. And you can go up 2 like a bishop. 3 points and 3 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you have to block off 15 squares in order to corral that guy. In the corner, well, you can't just go, you can go here, but you got to pay for it. If you advance, so 1, you can't go backwards, obviously. So 1 sideways, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 squares from the corner instead of 3 extra. All right, so that covers the king. So the next thing is the weakness of f7. I'm sure you've all heard of the scholar's mate. It starts like this, and then dude brings his bishop out. Let's say he moves the knight out, queen out, and then some silly move, let's say this. Then the big scholar's mate happens, where you checkmate with the queen. If you would move the queen out, then your king would have had a flight square, but this scholar's mate assumes that the queen is still there. This actually isn't a very good move, but because instead of doing moves like moving the bishop out, you could move the knight out. That blocks the queen's view of that. So then the move is shown to not be very good. And then there's moves like this later on where you threaten the queen, but you also threaten here, forking the king and the rook. So, yep, the scholar's mate's actually not a very good opening. Let's try the scholar's mate over here. So white gets his 3 points, and then black gets 2 turns. But let's say that black only does, just for the sake of argument, let's let white try to get away with it. So then 1, 2, 3. That's as far as the bishop went, and that's as far as this 3 needs to go. So we've set up the threat. And we'll even notice that the 3 can't capture the 2, and the 6 cannot capture the 2. So it already doesn't work. But let's let black try to help white. So he'll go here and here. So now he vacated the square to let white try to get the scholar's mate. So let us put the 3 there and even move the 2 over here to give it some defense. So the black king is in check. Clearly he's not moving out of here, right? let's explore that. You can move for 3 points and then move the king there. Look at that. It got out. But there's other options. You could just capture. Because pawns 2s can capture orthogonally, you just do that. Then you can even use your 6th point rather to decrement. Now what's this 2 going to do? It could decrement. So now it's 1 dice each. And then I guess we have to decrement this. So white is at down right now a die. There is a bunker shatter, which is going to have to be rebuilt, but that's easily enough done. So anyway, that shows you that the scholar's mate doesn't work right on its face, but even if you let white do it, black is fine. The F7 vulnerability, it just simply does not exist in dice chess. Does not exist. Which is another point in the favor of dice chess for being balanced at the outset because of the sturdiness of the pieces. All right, what's next? The two-turn checkmate by black refuted. Oh, okay. Did you know that black can win chess in 2 turns if white does 2 really silly things? That goes like this. White plays g4. Then black does this. And then white does this. Why? Well, it's happened a time or two in the past. So the people that do write opening books and stuff talk about this. Because the queen can come here. This isn't just a check. It's a checkmate. The bishop can't do anything. The knight is blocked. And if it goes here, that didn't help. The queen will still take the king. The rook is no help. Can't get out. The king boxed in. All of the squares are blocked off except this one, but that's still in check by the queen. So this is the 2-move checkmate by white. Or by black, rather. So let's see what happens over here. So white's first turn, he plays that, and then black gets to do 2 things. Let's say he doesn't spring the 6 just yet. And so then white will do this, and let's say this. All right, so now the same setup is here. So we bring the 6 out, and let's even do this to try to help with the checkmate, to get something else covering this square. All right. Well, that does prevent this little trick that I did before, because the 2's got that covered. So it can't slip out the back jack, so to speak. But we can interpose pieces. So you could do that and that. You get to move 2 pieces. So now you totally clogged it in. Can we do better than that? Yes, we can. We could capture the 6. Gone. So the 2-move checkmate is not there. There is a 2-move checkmate in dice chess, though. I already showed it to you. If you move the pawn away, then you can, do that and increment this to 5. It's not a checkmate per se. And let's say you don't address it. You didn't realize it. Well, then black will increment to a 6 and capture the king. So that's a loss by king capture. And it was black's second turn. So all right. Next. The advancement score versus the must-move rule. All right, in chess, when they made the rules, they had a rule called the must-move rule. You must move. So that satisfies the must-move rule. As does that. As does that. As does that. So that's a 2-time repetition of position. That's a 3-time repetition of position with the same player to move. It's now white's turn. This is the 3rd time white has seen this position with white to move. That's a draw, my friends. Why don't they ever do this? I had that discussion with Gemini in this book, my book. It's enforced by it's like a social contract. The players are not allowed to bring the game into disrepute. And so they won't do that. By agreement. You can't do that kind of thing in dice chess. You have to improve your advancement score or capture. And so you have to advance at least 1 rank. The other player could do that too. So the first moves of a game could be this. Unless they both players continue that on until they reach this position. Which is totally fine by the rules. There's nothing stopping the players from doing this. But why don't we need a social contract for this game? So who would have got here last? 16. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 4, 6, 16 turns and 16 turns. So 32 turns. Oh, black would have got there first. So white might have been like this. Black would have been like this. So black would have taken his 31st turn, and then white will take his 32nd turn. I think that's what it would be. But it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong on that. What does matter is that what happens once we reach this position. Whether white could have done this to reach this position or black could have done this to reach this position. We get this position where someone is now forced to breach the other camp. Well, the most important thing to do is to check the king. So this player would initiate a check, probably decrement, which would force a decrement, and a recapture. Then we get a decrement and a capture, which would force a decrement and a recapture. Then we get a decrement and a capture. Now, these two pieces cannot capture that, and it's defended a couple of times. So this check has to be addressed. What's white going to do? It could go back, but then it has to pay for it. There's no safe haven anywhere out here. Since you can't capture it, you have to go back, but then you have to pay for it with a 2 square advancement. Oh, this died before that. I just noticed this 2 was checking that king, as were these 2s. All right, so the analysis is even simpler. As you can see, I didn't prepare this ahead of time. I'm just figuring this out on the fly. All right, it's even quicker. So let's say we reach this position and it's black's turn. So black cannot do that because black will put himself in check. So he has to do this. Then white, let's say he decremented. So now the only 2 pieces that can capture this is this one and this one, but that would put the white king in check. So white cannot capture back. So the first one to breach the king is going to win the game. So the king has to go there. Then what would you do? I guess the time-honored thing. Check the king. So the king's in check. All right, the only move, I guess you could do it with this one too. Yes, you're safe doing it there. So let's use this one. Well, white is still losing. So we can check the king again. Capture, decrement. So now, because of the quantum shadow, the king is in check. Because the king's in check, it's, white cannot make a recapture. So the check must be addressed. I guess we will interpose a piece. That's still only a lateral movement. You still have to move forward. You can't move the king forward. See how devastating this is for white? Whoever got checked first is just going to get destroyed. So this turtling, it's not going to work. You got to play better than that. Trying to see other things here. Yeah, I'm not seeing, like, to get a piece here and here would be a double check, which would probably result in checkmate. So there's still too many pieces there for that. Oh, we got this though. Capture. And decrement. All right, so now the king's in check from that. Yeah, soon this will be overloading once I capture here. So you can capture backwards, but you can't use this one because that 2, the king is in the quantum shadow of the 2. So let's do that and decrement. All right, now what? So the 2, so the king will be in the quantum shadow of that 2, so that piece is pinned. This 1, the king is in the quantum shadow of that, so this piece is pinned. So now when this capture happens, and let's say a decrement, now the king's in real trouble. A, it's now 3 pieces down, and it's in check, and it's got 2 pinned pieces. What's it going to do now? It will have to back up, and now it has to pay for it with a 2 square advancement. I guess oh, the 4 is checking the other king. So when this piece captured backwards, it uncovered that 4. But anyway, you see the point. The fireworks will happen. So it's not going to be a draw. There is always a winner to this game. There's always a winner, and there's always a loser. And turtling the armies until they clash is not a good policy, because the first one that gets to breach the king will have an advantage. So, all right. So the draw of death is finally solved in dice chess. Well, I just showed why. But I'll show this part. Suppose all the capturing has occurred. And there's just a couple of pieces left. Oops. How about we give friendly pieces? All right, let's say this happened. So, what we do here, gotta watch my, make sure I'm still on screen. All right, so right now this king is in check by this 2. It's in the quantum shadow. So you can move up, and that satisfies the advancement score, and let's say you don't do anything else. You want to try to minimize the amount of runway you've used. And so right now, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 turns maximum that white could last. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the king, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So white is winning in what we call the tax capacity department. Each time you have a turn, you have to pay the tax. In other words, the 1 square advancement, or the 1 rank advancement of your pieces. If you can't pay the tax, then there's another king on the board called King Morton. I didn't quite get AI right because I didn't see the second king, but that was supposed to be King Morton, but there's another king there. So I did catch it on this image. There's a single king here. So that's King Morton on the book. So if you don't pay King Morton, he executes you. So there's 3 kings on the board. So right now, white is winning in this regard. And so black has to take a turn. So black might do that, and then an advancement, let's say, of this. So now black is threatening to capture this piece, which would obviously kill its forward motion, but it would kill more tax capacity of this guy. But white is also in check. So what's white going to do? White could advance, and let's say white does that. And then white needs to advance again. Or I guess white could sidestep. Let's say white does that. So now black is in check with the quantum shadow of the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the following turn, this could increment to a 5 and capture the black king. So we need to advance, and we will increment. So now this king is in check by the quantum shadow. So let's see. So it's good to keep your pieces together. So I guess we'll advance and sidestep. So white is using less. Oh, that didn't get, it's still in check by that. I guess, so we can't do that. That is still in check by the 2. So you'd have to go another advance. Go there to say check. And you got to pay for it. Advance. Yeah, you don't want to go there. Can't go here. I guess you'd have to advance again. So there, that forced 2 advancements of white. Is it going to be enough to win? I doubt it, but let's see. So sidestep, and oh, this is kind of cool. Look at that. Check and an attack on that 4. So the king is in check by the quantum shadow. So I guess the king would go there. And you just need to move the 4. I guess there. Up 2. That's probably not checkmate. Darn close though. So now this king is running. So a back pedal has to be paid for with 2 square advancement. So now the check forces the king to move or an interposition. Let's see. So if we go back 2, we have to pay for it with a 3. Oh, we can't pay for it with a 3 square advancement. because that's only a 2. Oh, this is fine. So there. Oh, that's black is coming forward, so that's fine. And then we can decrement. So it's still attacking that piece and attacking that piece. So both of white's pieces are attacked. So what will white do? Lateral and advance. So then black will advance. No, black can't do that. I guess black will advance. All right, white is almost out of options. So white, I might have violated the advancement score, I think. No, I think I paid for it properly. All right, so there's a check. So the check has to be avoided. Let's say we do that. And that's all we do. Then white has to advance. Well, white won't do that. White does that. Black does that. White does that. Black does that. White does that. Black does that. This is called under watch. Now black can't advance anymore. So black must capture on the next turn or get executed by King Morton. So white does that, and then King Morton executes black. So this is called freeze out. So there's no legal moves available. All right. Next. So I just talked about number 12 also. So the draw of death is solved. No memorized openings because there's 200,000 choices per turn on average. How are you going to memorize that? The branching tree is just too much. The middle game in dice chess is its greatest asset. There's things like the, well, you saw some of it in action already. The ability to capture and adjust another piece. To take just a single example. All right, let's say that's the position. So black technically is winning because black has an extra piece. But if white captures, seems like black could just recapture, but with only 5 points being used, there's another point left. Let's say white increments that from a 3 to a 4. Now this king's in check. That makes all the difference in the world. Before it wasn't in check. No. Let's say it was a 2. I got that wrong. Let's say that was the position. So white captures and increments this to a 3. Now, technically it can only go to here, but because of the quantum shadow, the king is now in the quantum shadow. This increment from a 2 to a 3 put the king in the quantum shadow. So this is a very powerful device in the game. Being that this looks like a 2, it's so weak, it can't possibly reach the king. but it can. With a capture and one extra point, it is now reaching the king on that turn. So that's tactics like that are just incredible. Also, tactics like this. All right, because you get to move 2 pieces on a turn, you can do this and this. Now the king is in double check, and so it has to address that. It has to take its full turn to get out of check like that, or like that. Those are its only 2 safe spaces. But now it runs the risk of losing. Actually, you didn't even need to increment it. So there. So now this king is in, well, I botched the directions, but you get the idea. Because white's supposed to go that way only. All right. So the middle game is just stupendous in this game. I already talked about the promotions. So the 2s do not get to promote into 6s. You can increment them on your own. You don't have to get them to the 8th rank. And there's 3 board sizes. So now I'll show you the 9x9. The 9x9 looks like this. So it goes 5, 4, 3, 2. The king goes in the middle, and the next to the king is a 6. And then there's 2s. Same thing on the other side. But that's in the diagram I showed you in the box. So I guess the only remaining thing is to have dice chess battle chess directly. So let us do that. We'll go on the chessboard. So we're going to let dice chess battle chess. And we have to seriously restrict the pieces, the dice chess pieces, in order for them to be able to battle the chess army. We're going to say that the dice chess piece can only move 1 piece. It cannot do any increments or decrements. We'll say those are illegal in this particular matchup. The dice chess piece can capture. So that's it. So you can move or move and capture. There's no other options. So we're going to do that. And we're going to see how chess handles dice chess, even with that great restriction. You saw the great fluidity that's possible. There's many more ways to interpose pieces and stuff, but dice chess won't get any of that. All right. White will do that. Black doesn't get 6 points, it just gets 3. So now it's attacking this pawn. Crazy as it is, but it is. So white needs to defend its pawn. Oh, it won't. If it does capture the pawn, there's no shadowing, quantum shadows. So, because we're going to say you cannot increment or decrement. So, I guess we'll do this. Let's capture anyway. All right, so far even Steven. I'll put the pieces there. So now it's Black's turn. Let's say that. And then we'll do this. Checky boo. guess we'll capture and capture. Well, it seems like it's even, but it's not. You'll see as we move along, because these twos are not pawns. They're almost like little mini queens. All right, whose turn is it? I guess white captured back, so now it's black's turn. Let's just do that. We'll do that. You can see the great danger this is causing. And you can't do something like this to say check, because it can just be captured. So white's in serious trouble here. Let's do that. All right. So the two will capture here. And I guess we'll capture back with the bishop. Then we'll have the two capture here. And the only thing to capture with is this pawn. So then this 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can capture here. Now, white is a piece down. Oh, let's see. I guess we'll get out of the way of the... So now if this 2 moves, then the king will be in check. So let us I guess we'll do that. Get a little king fortification. Yeah, this knight, this pawn is overloaded, so I guess we'll capture. Now that the king was defended, I guess we have to capture back because we were in check. Now what? We'll capture here, check. Check. Should be abundantly clear who's winning here. Black is not in any danger at all. We'll even give white another turn to try to do something. All right. We'll even let white capture again. All right. Oh, that's a 3. Well, I won't even do that. Let's do this. Give white a chance to defend itself. Because they can go sideways, there's no safe places anywhere. Here, 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 they're all taken. here is safe, I guess. It's crazy just how powerful these pieces are. All right, what's next? I guess we'll let white go. So white's not really threatening the 3 because it's defended so many ways. So we'll do this, check. Then so it's threatening the bishop. So I guess we'll just let the bishop capture. So checkmate's being threatened here. And the pawns are powerless to do anything against these dice. The 3 is defended by this 4. The king can't break out. I mean, I guess you could do that. Then it would just capture. Now it's threatened. You only have a check left. Now it's just pawns left. There's nothing left. And black won't even just capture. Just issue the checkmate. So as you can see, the dice chess pieces are much, much stronger. I mean, it wasn't even close. There's the 4 in the center of the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The 4 in the center of the board is as strong as a queen. And look at that. It's like 1, 2, 3, 3 queens. It's crazy. So, I have shown that chess does not hold a candle to dice chess. That's the overriding thing. So hopefully you get my book. The game is available on the Game Crafter. You can see the beauty of the artwork on there. There. So, and it comes in a cellophane wrapper, so everything is all good. And I've shown you the 3 boards. So so it's like $71, but you get 3 games instead of just 1. So it works out to about $22, $23, per game. So it's comparably priced. But the quality of the game is incredible. Plus, with all these dice, you have tons of dice games you can play. There's black dice and white dice, little token that you can do. If you're into inventing games, there's plenty of material in the box to make different kinds of games. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Oh, like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Let me know what you think. And go to, I have other videos on my channel showing me playing the bot. So I have a very nice bot. It's not Grandmaster strength, but it's probably average tournament level strength. So it can beat most people. So enjoy that too. All right, have a great day.